Capcom's remake of Resident Evil is genuinely fantastic, a modernising of a 90s icon while retaining the tenets that helped the horror series become a staple of gaming. A remake of its follow-ups seemed like a no-brainer, but fans would have to wait 16 years, experience a roller coaster of changes to the RE formula, and how an ever-changing industry can shape a long-lasting series. But now it's 2019, and Resident Evil 2's remake meets waves of anticipation, expectation, and skepticism. Could Capcom, a gaming giant that has admittedly lost some of its magic in recent times, really remake this bona fide horror classic for modern gamers? The short answer is yes, absolutely. Resident Evil 2's reimagining shares many of the same attributes as Remake. It's a complete overhaul, with the skeleton of the original firmly intact, while surface level improvements change the game. This is seen in the story, which follows a rookie cop and a student, Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield respectively. They're both in Raccoon City for different reasons, but are quickly separated and forced to navigate the perilous, infected police station, uncovering the source of this outbreak and meeting a bevy of side characters along the way. Everything is handled more maturely, as while some campy lines remain, side characters are given depth and complexity, with some harrowing events sticking with you long after completion. The general thread of the narrative is strong, with enough surprises and extreme horror to keep you glued to it, and though prone to some goofy moments, the dialogue and voice work see significant improvements over the original. Utilising the RE7 engine, this is perhaps one of the best looking games of this generation. Everything is detailed, from the intricately mapped police station to several sub-areas around. The characters, some mocapped, look fantastic during cutscenes and help to deliver the story with more punch. The animation is also excellent during gameplay, with zombie attacks that are visceral enough to cause you to flinch. Gruesome use of gore, such as the splatting cartilage of headshots and disgusting zombie kills, ups the ante for both the story and the scares. The lighting also deserves high praise, with such thick darkness and dimly lit rooms that you can't help but feel suffocated. But to the game's credit, it maintains that 90s era design, feeling of its time despite the huge upgrade. It should also be mentioned that classic monsters, such as the Licker and zombie dogs, have never looked better.
Watch out!
Resident Evil 2 manages to achieve a great feat, feeling faithful to the original while overhauling and modernising the gameplay. Rather than traditional static cameras and tank controls, this remake opts to utilise the third-person perspective first seen in Resident Evil 4. Fans may worry at this, but the core fundamentals which define Resi are very much here. There is a scarcity of ammo, forcing you to scavenge and ponder whether certain zombies can be avoided in favour of conserving bullets. The dodge mechanics, quick-time events and action which have come to define later installments have all been stripped out, purifying this to a straight-up horror experience. It deftly mixes quiet tension, complex puzzles and jump scares aplenty. Capcom have also introduced a plethora of features, expanding the game greatly. Sub-weapons, which run the gambit from combat knives to multiple grenade types, are doubly useful, as not only can they be used in the regular fashion, but should the players find themselves grabbed by one of the game's creatures, they can be deployed to avoid sustaining damage. Various new items have been added, allowing you to board up windows to stop respawning zombies, create ammo using gunpowder, and find pouches to expand your inventory, though the traditional item box still remains. Other tweaks, such as zombies being able to break through doors to unsafe rooms if they are in pursuit, help build towards the ultimate version of this classic. Not everything is flawless, as a couple of changes were less successful. Perhaps the most noticeable change is the increased presence of Mr. X, better known as Tyrant. In the original, its presence was dramatic yet infrequent, making him a deadly foe to outwit. In this remake, however, once he begins to appear in both campaigns, it can become the most frustrating part of the adventure. On standard, it bores a fast walking speed and can knock you to the floor with a single punch. This would be more manageable if you had more ammo to suppress him, but this is not the case. Not to mention, he often catches up to you quickly, even if you've temporarily downed him. Speaking of frustrating, the boss fights too vary wildly in quality. Many are straightforward enough, but some force you to perform complex maneuvers that the mechanics just do not allow for. Particularly teeth grinding are the frequent encounters with G-Monster, whose long reach can easily swipe you with your character's limited movement. It's not game breaking, but it is still frustrating. Of course, Resident Evil 2 isn't one of those games which breaks the 100-hour mark in terms of longevity, but it has oodles of quick burst replay value. You can expect around 10 hours for each side of the story, but once you figure out a technique, speedruns allow for it to be beaten within 3. There is a great satisfaction to this, and it bears fruitful rewards such as special weapons and costumes. There are also 3 smart difficulty levels to experience. Assisted sanitizes the horror experience, with health regenerating to half and weaker monsters, making it great for those looking to experience the game first and foremost. Standard ups the ante with limited ammo and tougher monsters, but autosaves and no ink ribbons keep it from becoming too hard. Hardcore is the ideal mode for long-time Resident Evil fans, with the return of ink ribbons limiting saves, tougher monsters that can kill you in a few hits, and very limited ammo. There is a difficulty mode for any kind of player.
Claire, I think you should go.
Don't worry about me, Leon. You take care of yourself.
Claire, you need to go. Now!
Okay, let's get through this. Both of us.
And play this game you should, because Resident Evil 2 is a superb effort that shows how remakes should be done. While keeping intact the core facets of Resident Evil, it manages to add a tremendous coat of new paint whilst expanding the mechanics, ensuring those who have played the original to death will still find lots to love. For those who never experienced this masterclass in survival horror in its original incarnation, it's an absolute must, so long as you can stomach some classical horror. Despite some frustrations at times, it seems like Capcom may finally have found their modern Resident Evil formula.
You need help.
Why?
He's right behind you.
What?
Oh, God.